Okay, so that's a wrap, day in the life of a trainer. So yeah, a big part of today is to do some of our test run stuff for sort of following the trainers and their journey. Obviously I'm a PT, been a PT since sort of 2016. So part of our new segment is try to get trainers a bit more involved in the content, showcasing the trainers in our community, and in particular sort of following their journey, you know, on what a day looks like for a trainer. Some of the trainers' wins, challenges are obviously as being a PT, what a day looks like for those that are looking to become trainers, and also I suppose people that are just interested in what it's like to be a trainer, what a day feels like. But yeah, so I think today we're going to follow me through the business, see what sort of day it is like for me as a PT manager at the PT Workspace, and yeah, I think hopefully cover a few meetings, go through some of the chats with the trainers, and plan for the content next week. Hit me with the balls. No, I don't. What's he doing? Oi, he's cameraman. So that's the real actor right there. It's the real. This is we take him to PT Workspace together, and that's the thumbnail right there. Max is look at he loves it. He loves it. The attention. Come on then. Then I'll do a little whoosh. Yeah, I don't always have time for that in the morning. Usually it's overnight oats, whatever the food prep is, run out the door. And today it's obviously a little bit better, but it was raining like 10 minutes ago, so usually it's umbrella as well, and just on the commute, you know. Yeah, the biggest choice, as I'm sure the vlogs will show up for trainers, is as everyone gets more popular, and gets more clients, is like how do you balance out that time? It's the hard bit. It's like, do I want to take that client at 9 o'clock in the evening and then the next morning be in at 7 a.m? That's what I call the graveyard shift. Yeah, that's the one that you can only really do once or twice a week, and then it starts to burn you out a little bit. So today won't be a busy one. So when I say won't be a busy one, it's like 4 or 5 sessions I'll be doing, and then obviously getting on with the rest of the management at Islington. So yeah, you know. Anyway, barbecue time tomorrow, chill out, relax, no work, thankfully. But those weekend warrior trainers, obviously, that's when they do the work, so I get it. You know, a lot of people are quite busy on a Saturday. Yeah, mate, yeah. I'll tell you what's wrong. He's got to go to daycare, which is a lovely resort for dogs, and play with his mates all day. But yeah, he's a moany little git because he's a. I tell you what, the people that had dogs in COVID, I feel sorry for some of those guys because separation anxiety for dogs is a big problem. But anyway, he's fine. He just cries like a baby as he always does. No more. Shut your mouth. Don't get on camera. Shut your fucking mouth. Vicious. Don't get over them. They're vicious. Look. Kiss attack. Great Northern. Oh yeah, you'd be lucky if it turns up. Just wait another hour and see what happens. That's literally the mantra of Great Northern. It beats the tube anyway. I used to go into the tube in Farringdon for like, college and PTing, and this is like, roll the dice and see if the train turns up. So yeah, 7 o'clock starts and the train don't turn up, and I'm like saying, oh, I'm sorry I'll be a bit late. It's like, yeah, I'll be about an hour later because the train never turns up. So yeah, that's the commute, Great Northern. Great Northern. This is how I normally sit, mate. Do you know how you struck a pose? Yeah, so today we're doing a session with Will. Will's a really interesting one because he's actually been training for the last 6 months. He's a sort of distance runner. He's mostly focused on like a marathon at the moment, but about 6 to 8 weeks ago he was doing a triathlon, obviously run, cycle, swim. He's done that event and now we're into a bit more of a hybrid training routine. So it's a little bit different to a lot of clients. He's now doing effectively like a 4-day split made up of some hypertrophy training, mostly full body, some ancillary work, some vanity work, obviously, for good measure. And then we've got like an endurance routine, mostly kind of working on his lactate threshold, so really kind of top end, working to failure on a lot of sets, and additionally a strength conditioning session. It's a really great routine, really excited actually, because we're just about to start it today. So I think he's on his way now, so we're ready to get started, and let's rock and roll. Deadlift position, because we are going to try the swing. So obviously kettlebell between the feet, obviously a little bit more sort of shoulder width apart, hinging back, big retraction, nice and easy. Obviously this is bread and butter for us, so to make sure that lower back, that lumbar region particularly, as it can get a bit tight, to make sure sort of that, doing that little bit of anterior tilting here, just to get that little bit of rotation, back of the pelvis so we're flat through the lower back. That's it, particularly chest up, that's it, driving through. That's it, we're gonna go for a few reps here. We'll start moving into the kettlebell swing. Looking good, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we've got that very sort of little bit, what feels a bit unnatural at first. We're gonna do a little bit of loading back and then a gentle rocking motion. And we'll extend through the hips, let that movement carry us through. And we've got that kettlebell swing. So if you sort of start by preloading the hips back and then get the hip extension through, that's it, building up, that's it, building up. Want to reduce that forward lean, good, drive, extending through, big hip drive, here you go. Now you see some power behind it, hip extension, nice, there you go, there you go, there we go, now we're cooking, now we're cooking. That's it, lovely, chest up, not too forward, good. Lovely, looking nice, 10, 9, 8, 7, looking good, 6, 5, 4, 3, looking good, 2, last one. Yeah, easy, easy, easy. Nice, nice, nice. Obviously the advanced version is coming down, popping up and through and then coming out the same way we came in. Obviously the easy version, we come down, we come up, we pop the hips back. So I would start, because you don't need to do the easiest one of those, there's another version of that, but if you do the hard version, pop in, pop out, same direction. As you get tired, maybe in the second round, we'll just reset the hips up, if that makes sense. Like last time, yeah. So steep in, I think you've easily got hopefully 8 in about 20 seconds. Don't have to go fast, obviously the depth, that's it. Pop the hips out the same way in, dive through. You want to come a little bit flush to the ground, that's very nice. Really nice, yeah, yeah. That's it, pop the hips down, drive through. There you go, that's the one, perfect. Try and keep that sort of depth or that gradient incline down. There you go, now we're cooking. Okay, about 10 more seconds, you'll get a few more reps if you attack these a little bit. Shoulders in, drive fast, fast, fast. Nice. Go. Nice, yeah, good stuff. That's it, quick hands. Switch, switch, switch. Nice and tall. Nice and tall. Lovely. Want to go 10 seconds. Nice. Pushing further if you can, squeezing the core. You've always got the weighted vest, so it's going to be very hard, this one. Then military plank. Brace, transition. It doesn't want to look like you're doing this, like very wobbly, rotatey. If you can, very strong. So you've got that little brace and pause. And then we're going to finish here. And with the mannequin, I'm going to try to use a dragging motion, not a knee drive. So you want to use that quad extending through. You want to always pull from the abdominal. So you want that little bit of, as we say before, like we're with that tucking the pelvis, abdominal bracing. So as we come into that press up, we're going to tuck. I'm going to try and drag. Drag, very slow. Should feel like you're skimming the ground, ideally. And that'll give us a really good abdominal engagement, not too much on the hip flexors and quads. So 3 piece, I'll give you the times as we go. We're not going to rush these too much. None of these have to be fast, including the mountain climber. Faster the easier with some core exercise. The more it's reckless and fast, there's less control. Okay. Okay, your feet a bit tighter together here. We'll come up with the hips a little bit. Remember to get that tuck here on the abdominals, underneath. There you go, locked in. Locked in, push back and push up. Here we go, coming over the wrist, yeah, a little bit higher. That's it, staying high so we're safe on the lower back. That's it, here you go, there you go, now in the spot. Good.
What's usually like your main goal with like hybrid training programs?
Hybrid, yeah. Good question. I suppose it depends on the sport specifically, because you may want to have a predisposition between either focusing on more endurance or more strength. So hybrid athletes obviously will tend to find in their calendar they might be doing something that's more aerobic or anaerobic. So you might find potentially someone's doing a shorter event like Will done like I'll call it a sprint triathlon. Yeah, sprint triathlon. So that one's like it's a lot obviously shorter, but it's very fast. So you might be going through 5K versus a marathon, which we're training for now. So particularly having a bit more endurance, like last training was a little bit more based on endurance work, and this is a program today which is more obviously endurance again, but usually this routine will have more strength training and hypertrophy, so more mid to heavier range training, and that means we're hopefully going to get obviously a bit of a varied sort of development. Sprint tri definitely need to be powerful and fast. Finishing speed, Will said he felt quite fast on the finishing speed, like he was sprinting down the last people in the race, so to a degree that shows he had that muscle endurance, and we had hopefully tried to get a lot of volume in. The strength training helps to deliver that speed as well, sort of strength speed at the end of the event. So yeah, hybrid training I think is a lot more popular now because people want to feel strong, look strong, and have a good degree of performance. So that's really important. So sort of stuff I love really as a PT with a strength conditioning background. It gives me excitement to see analytical data we can take from it, as well as the aesthetic benefits, of course, which is a win-win. Nice deep breath in. So this is one we're just going to be a bit careful on the pacing. So deep breath in, hold, hold, hold. Hold the air, hold the air, hold the air, hold the air, and gently exhale here, very gentle. There you go, nice, nice, nice. Good work, nice. Just breathing normally now. I'm gonna apply a little bit more pressure, but not a lot. Would you say you feel that top glute, piriformis, or lower back area?
Lower back.
Okay, lower back, perfect, perfect. Good stuff. Okay, just gentle breathing, nothing crazy. Yeah, awesome. Okay, nice. So maybe if you've got the space, add the walking lunges in. I think that'd be a big help. But I don't know if you had a look through some of the strength sessions. We did go through. So we went posterior chain and anterior. So we focused here on obviously the legs on the front side and the upper back. So I did put some extra rows in here because I felt it's one of the areas that were really strong on the presses. I think that mid back, and to make sure that thoracic side of our muscle development is there. So we've got bent over rows in and single arm rows. So there is a little bit more predisposition to the rows over the high pulls, but you're pretty good on the pull-ups. So that was one of the things I was aware of. That's it, nice, big burst of speed. Lovely. We're looking for 8 if we can, so a little bit closer to that strength range, but keeping a little bit in the tank today. That's it, last few. Really good technique. There's quite a lot of cueing usually with the retraction, which we often do in sessions. So making sure the shoulders are getting that full retraction. Sometimes you can allow that movement just to move away a little bit, so we get like a full stretch, which is very popular now on a lot of the YouTube channels. There's a lot of like long, we call like as you get that peak stretch position. So rows, generally for beginners, you probably don't want to be extending away. So often it's a bit more advanced tool you can use, and you get a little bit better control with rows, that you get that full extension, very controlled. Then you get a tiny bit of a stretch is okay, but that's a really quite an advanced little bit of like micro adjustment that we've tried to do with training over the last few years. Yeah. Particularly when it comes to high volume work, you know. But strength, you want to remain tight. So usually we're doing like a bent over row or single arm row on this, but as in training, we modified a few changes downstairs with the layout of the studio, so we came upstairs today. Okay, let's get last set in here, and then we'll just get a little bit of our stretch out as well. A couple of mobility drills I think goes in extra today. Okay, nice. Looking good. Okay, so we'll take this a little bit closer to failure. So obviously quite smooth. We'll just push it a little bit. So we'll do a drop set after. I'm just letting you know in advance. Okay.
I thought you were gonna make me do 5
No,
rounds
it's fine.
or
Just a little drop set. Drop set, drop set. Okay, nice. Control. Big burst of speed. That's it, nice descent. Making this look very easy, looking good. Take a few seconds at the end, because obviously this is a high rep count in what we usually do. So have a deep breath. That's it, take a second. Okay, there we go. Drop set. Okay, hands on the head like where we started. We'll take this to failure, so there and back. Quite consecutive. We're trying not to do any pauses. There's a nice variation where you can sort of pause on the mid step. So as you go through the lunge, and often if it was really heavy on strength and we'd be downstairs maybe, you can obviously take a pause in the mid set, which is a really good one, particularly we've used to increase that strength and power output through the unilateral leg work. But consecutive really builds up that lactate, which is a little bit of what we're doing here at the end. Looking good. Smooth, a little bit slow on the way down as you're coming towards the end. Yeah, fantastic, nice. Okay, nice. So we're going straight into a little bit of the hip mobility work. Definitely something we can do a little bit more of at the moment. So nice little step. We're going to control, we'll spend a bit of time here. Nice and gentle. We're just going to drive that knee over the front of the foot. Try and keep the heel down. Bring that head up a little bit, chest up. You feel it in your hamstrings, groin a little bit?
Yeah,
okay,
everywhere.
Cool. Nice. Nice, we'll take a little bit of our deep lat stretch as well. So we've done a little bit back, so dropping through, a little bit through the lower back tuck. Nice, so move into those calves as well. So we're gonna push up into the sort of high position here. I'm gonna drop that heel down, try and push down through. Ideally getting that press into the heel, trying to almost get contact with the ground if you've got enough range in the ankle. Just try to relax through it as best you can. Yeah, man, our calves. For me, because obviously you spend a bit of time on your feet, if you're someone that does a lot of walking or running, yeah, calves get really tight. And obviously, just walking up a mountain makes a big difference on tightness of the calves. Nice. Okay, give you a nice hand up here.
Cool.
Double high five.
What are you going to train us today?
Yeah, I think we're going to go for just a little bit of push and pull. Like I'm sure with a lot of PTs, when you've got like, a lot of sessions on the go and you're trying to break up your day. Sometimes you miss the odd session here and there where you choose to eat. Sometimes that's maybe some people will relate, but sometimes you're choosing to eat or you're choosing to train. And so I'm a bit behind this week. Got quite busy on sort of Tuesday and Wednesday. There's a lot of admin at the computer, so it's going to be a bit of catching up what hasn't been done this week. So a bit of push and pull seems like a good game plan.
Balancing all of the admin, back-end stuff with business, with training, and then also training.
Yeah, I definitely think when when we first started the studio, PT Workspace, it was definitely the case that I was like, I could modify being a PT with a business owner quite easily. I think what often happens is you tend to start acquiring new roles, new responsibilities, so you're just shifting around your timetable. Some people like, as I say, like, variety is the spice of life. Like, it's nice to be at the computer a day or two. Sometimes you miss just being a PT when you've got that much admin responsibilities, which is something which is obviously always taken into consideration. And now with the franchiser, we're doing a lot more work on business development, marketing, particularly like we're working on sort of production stuff. This kind of features a lot into admin time. So yeah, I would say I enjoy it. It's a new challenge. I think with anyone, when they're trying to be a solo entrepreneur or trying to be a new business owner, you have to quite quickly upskill yourself. So the pressure's on to like understand how to market to whoever it is you're speaking to in your business, then how to build funnels, website, and that sort of thing. So yeah, admin is quite tough, but then again, if you're someone that likes a bit of a challenge, I think it can be quite fun for sure. Definitely fun for trainers to make the pivot into being serious about their marketing and sales. I think when it comes to like what we've learned and picked up with PT Workspace, in particular, that over the last sort of 8 years now, I've sort of met probably 200 to 300 trainers, and I think there are some characteristics that seem to showcase trainers that tend to survive and thrive in the industry versus falter a little bit. And I think it is making that mental pivot between realizing, particularly if you've just finished the academy, or like me, I went through like an educational academic, through college or university, that you aren't a job, you don't have a job role necessarily. You have now a business or a career that you have to drive forward. There is no training wheels for personal trainers. So, once you come out of the academies, you are either into a fixed gym, and even then the support is very vapid in a lot of places. The sales teams are a bit lazy. Often, if you're lucky, you get a good manager, good sales team, and you get leads directed into you. For example, when I was at Virgin, there's a lot of disagreements around how leads were being distributed around sales teams, as people tend to have favourites. And there is times where the gym values the trainers a little bit less than they do the classes and the actual gym membership and running. So the sales teams and the managers can be a little bit complacent with personal training. And a lot of the trainers that end up here in PT Workspace make that pivot because either they're not valued or they don't feel like there's an initial return on their investment when they're investing into the club. So the thing that trainers, when they come to an independent space, and like PT Workspace, we try to support trainers with the additional support we have now, is making that pivot to now I have to operate and think like a business owner. And so that is where you need to start examining whether you have lead funnels, places that you can find and secure clients, whether that's your existing network or that's online, and building up a sense of skill, a sense of like framework and skills that you can find success in. And so for a lot of people, that is using social media, using YouTube, or in our case we use a lot of Google. So that's an area which I sort of specifically specialised in for a long time, was how do I get our business to the top of Google. And we don't want to compete with trainers. We want trainers to rise up their rankings and be easy to be found. So SEO is a big area I sort of found myself specialising, because I felt it was very analytical, quite simple. Okay, I input this website, input this blog, improve my website, and X outcome is I get more traffic to my website, and then I can improve conversions. Always trying to find opportunities to kind of convert with a better image or better call to action, titles, imagery, all that sort of thing. So yeah, the trainers anyway, like trainers that really do get the best value out of somewhere like PT Workspace and manage to make that next step into success. It is all about framework, structure, and making that pivot into knowing that you're a business owner. There's obviously a lot of other things that go into what makes a trainer successful, like mindset and various other things, but the more way people can understand that they are a business and no longer employed, that's the big thing. You're no longer an employee, and that mindset is hard to break, particularly if you have a background in education, or you've gone into it thinking that it's a job just like any other. It's not. It is a business and a career. It's not a job. Even when actually I was at uni, and there was some of the older tutors that had worked in a lot of the corporate gyms, they had probably a handful of salary positions and they barely existed, so it was like even the corporate banks, which were the first to really adopt personal training, they had like Holmes Place and these gyms that are probably gone now, but they were sort of attached to these corporate banks, and personal training really was grown out of that industry, where people obviously high capital to spend lots of disposable income. that was quite normal for someone to pay a trainer $100, £100 an hour. And so it's filtered out and grown and adapted, but a lot of that came with salaries. That was a job. It is no longer the case. I think once people realise personal trainers could be treated as self-employed, the way in which the role and responsibilities had changed. You still have like dietitians and physios within the NHS. You have jobs and roles. Very rare you find a personal training career. So that pivot for a lot of people into being a business owner, I think is natural, and it has to be an evolution. And that's what we really try to centre in on with, with PT Workspace and support trainers as best we can. More often looking at marketing and sales as the #1 goal. So I mean, obviously as PT Workspace story goes, it's probably I would say one that I feel is quite unique and personal to me and a lot of trainers. It's one of the elements of a business where you just get the circumstances that kind of force you to develop or to create a new concept. And definitely back in 2014-15, when I was PTing, there were some big issues around the gyms and a lot of trainers leaving at the time. The churn rate is really high in the industry, it still is. And as a lot of people know watching this, there's a lot of issues still to solve around what happens after you qualify. But when you are qualified and you have a gym and you're working somewhere and you have an opportunity to train a client outside the gym, I got like basically to a degree like sacked from my first job because I had a website which they complained was a conflict of interest, which I understand as a business owner there are things that are conflicts of interest, but for me there was issues throughout my time in like Virgin Active, and there was just nowhere to train your clients, nowhere that you could take a client flexibly. I mean, as I was saying before, like there was a story where I was just trying to get a client, I ring up a guy at a gym and I'm trying to negotiate on the phone with him the price point. I'm then saying, can I bring my client in? Then there's like, oh, the member's got to pay. And then he's like, I'm paying him cash and I'm writing my name down on a notepad. There were things that were just glaring to me that had to be solved. And as I wouldn't say a natural element of wanting to try to make a bit of a change for independent trainers, because I felt it was just, the industry was stacked against us, a lot of people taking advantage. So for me, PT Workspace was just obvious, and it would have come whether we started it or not, I'm sure. For me, is that if we could build something where I wanted to go and I knew was fair and affordable, and I knew it'd be a success, and then the community would grow, maybe it'd become something where we'd be able to, as a collective, change the industry so trainers can work more for themselves. So that really is the main story behind PT Workspace, and it is maybe a classic built out of a situation where you have a problem, you have to solve it, and that's the short answer. Okay, all right, let's grab me bits. Okay, so that's a wrap, day in the life of a trainer, aka me. I think a good day, quite busy. Really nice to get the meetings with the trainers today, talking about some of the business development stuff. We didn't catch all that footage, but 2 great sessions. Will smashed it. All the intensity is always good. Amelia a bit tired today, but she always puts the effort in, so it's a quality session. Hope you enjoyed that, seeing a bit about what trainers are up to, what they're doing. Hopefully you're excited to see Andrews. We've got Lauren and a few other trainers coming up. So yeah, lots to come. Looking forward to getting started on some more stuff, and chat to you soon.